Hello, everybody. Gray is joining me a bit today, I guess, as we do our afternoon daily devotional time. We also have Joxer around too, but yeah. Anyways, good day. Hopefully, it's been good out. It was a little cold today. Didn't do a whole lot of extra cleaning in here like I was originally planning, but that's okay. And Zach, hopefully things are going good. I'm gonna start things off today, like we do pretty much every day, and go by the day in Jesus' calling. So today's the 14th. Oh, yes, it is. Yeah, you never ended up letting me know, Zach, if you still longboard and are doing that type of stuff. Like, are you still participating in it? And then, have you actually been able to do that while you're under quarantine? Because getting out and exercising is still pretty important. But no. Anyways, April 14th, Jesus is calling. Heaven is both present and future. As you walk along your life path holding my hand, you are already in touch with the presence of heaven, nearness to me. You can also find many hints of heaven along your pathway because the earth is radiantly alive with my presence. Shimmering sunshine awakens your heart, gently reminding you of my brilliant light. Birds and flowers and trees and skies evoke praises to my holy name. Keep your eyes and ears open as you journey with me. At the end of your life path, it is an entrance to heaven. Only I know when you will reach that destination, but I am preparing you for each step of the way. The absolute certainty of your heavenly home gives you peace and joy to help you along your journey. You know that you will reach your home in my perfect timing, not one moment too soon or too late. Let the hope of heaven encourage you as you walk along the path of life with me. So there's two Bible verses that encourage that. 1 Corinthians 15:20-23. But Christ has indeed been raised from the dead, the first fruits of those who have fallen asleep. For since death came through a man, the resurrection of the dead comes also through a man. For as in Adam all die, so Christ all will be made alive, but each in his own turn. Christ the first fruits, then when he comes, those who belong to him. 1 Corinthians 15. And then Hebrews 6:19. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul. Firm and secure, it enters the inner sanctuary behind the curtain. So one of the things with this is just that reminder of, nature can be an expression on God and just the beauty, the peacefulness, the power. There's I used to go to the cataracts, and this was before they had it all fenced up and you weren't allowed to do a lot of this. They actually had hey, be careful while being in the water signs. Now it's don't enter into the water, don't even walk along this path that leads to the water. Where we used to be in go by the waterfalls. There's this one waterfall that we'd all stand underneath, and it felt really cool because you could feel the power, but it wasn't going to hurt you. It was just like, I don't know. It was natural water, but it was like, and it was powerful. If you weren't careful, you could lose your footing. But then further down, there was a really big waterfall, and if you stood under that, you'd get seriously hurt. But I would find this little dry spot, have my feet dangling over the edge, and just the power and the noise and the white noise reminded me of God, because it was peaceful, it was powerful, it was beautiful, and it like blocked out all the rest of the noise. And then that white noise helped me focus on God. Sometimes I need like really heavy music to help me connect. I miss actually going to Tim Hortons to read my Bible. For some reason, it just helps me focus. Doing it in quiet it's different, but right now it's necessary. So, no. All right. So now we're going to continue on with the daily devotionals and read Proverbs 14. So I'll give you all a couple minutes to turn to Proverbs 14. And those that haven't been joining me, and they're like, why is it Proverbs 14? It's because it's the 14th. Different proverb for every day. Which means we're pretty much halfway through. This quarantine's been interesting. I'm starting to think that life after COVID-19, it's going to take a while to readjust. Just like imagine going to a sporting event or a concert. Like, our mosh pit's going to be for a while. Who knows? But it's going to be interesting. Getting used to the routines and this new normal now. And yeah, it's been interesting. It'll be interesting to see what life is going to be like after this. But anyways, Proverbs 14. Hopefully you guys had enough time to turn or to find it. And I got this nice little Christmas bookmark, which I found very fitting to talk about Easter with. But anyways, Proverbs 14, starting at verse 1. A wise woman builds her home, but a foolish woman tears it down with her own hands. Those who follow the right path fear the Lord. Those who take the wrong path despise him. A fool's proud talk becomes a rod that beats him, but the words of the wise keep him safe. Without oxen, a stable stays clean, but you need a strong ox for a large harvest. I've always liked that one. I want to read it again just because I like it. Without an oxen, the stable stays clean, but you need a strong ox for a large harvest. Like that. An honest witness does not lie. A false witness breathes lies. A mocker seeks wisdom and never finds it, but knowledge comes easily to those with understanding. Stay away from fools, for you won't find knowledge on their own lips. The prudent understand where they are going, but the fools deceive themselves. Fools make fun of guilt, but the godly acknowledge it and seek reconciliation. Each heart knows its own bitterness, and no one else can fully share its joy. The house of the wicked will be destroyed, but the tent of the godly will flourish. There is a path before each person that seems right, but it ends in death. I want to read that one again too. There's a path before each person that seems right, but it ends in death. Laughter can conceal a heavy heart, but when the laughter ends, the grief remains. Backsliders get what they deserve. Good people receive their reward. Only simpletons believe everything they're told. The prudent carefully consider their steps. The wise are cautious and avoid danger. Fools plunge ahead with reckless confidence. Short-tempered people do foolish things, and schemers are hated. Simpletons are clothed with foolishness, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. Evil people will bow before good people. The wicked will bow at the gates of the godly. The poor are despised even by their neighbors, while the rich have many friends. It is a sin to belittle one's neighbor. Blessed are those who help the poor. If you find and do evil, you will be lost. If you plan to do good, you will receive unfailing love and faithfulness. Continuing from 23. Work brings profit, but mere talk leads to poverty. Wealth is a crown for the wise. The effort of a fool's yield is only foolishness. A truthful witness saves lives, but a false witness is a traitor. Those who fear the Lord are secure, and he will be a refuge for their children. Fear of the Lord is life-giving foundation. It offers escape from the snares of death. A growing population is a king's glory. A prince without subjects has nothing. People with understanding control their anger. Hot temper shows great foolishness. A peaceful heart leads to a healthy body. Jealousy is like a cancer in the bones. Those who oppress the poor insult their maker, but helping the poor honors him. The wicked are crushed by disaster, but the godly have a refuge when they die. Wisdom enshrined in understanding heart. Wisdom is not found among fools. Godliness makes a nation great, but sin is a disgrace to any people. I have to pronunciate more as I read. A king rejoices in the wise, but is angry with those who disgrace him. 14:31 refers back to Matthew 25, verses 31 to 46. So I'm going to read 31, read how it relates, and then go back to 31. Those who oppress the poor insult their maker, but helping the poor honors him. When the poor are oppressed, it is an insult to God. In the midst of Jesus' parable about the sheep and the goats, he says, when you refuse to help the least of these my brothers and sisters, you are refusing to help me. So that goes back to that verse there. So those who oppress the poor insult their maker. That connection of God connecting with the poor and the ones that are often overlooked in our society. God identifies with them even before Jesus roamed around without a place for his head. God says, yeah, those people, I connect with those people. Stop insulting them. Show them love. In verse 20, the poor are despised even by their neighbors, while the rich have many friends. That's not actually the verse that I was looking for. It's the next one. It is a sin to belittle one's neighbor. Blessed are those who help the poor. Like Jesus, God's already reaching out and going like, yeah, you want to know me? You want to know me? You want to show love to me? I identify with these people that you've been picking on. You need to show these people love. You are not better than the people that you look your nose down at. Because compared to me, y'all kind of suck. But I love you, and I like you, and I want to be with you, and I'm willing to die for you. So, I don't know. That's how I kind of connect it. No, thank you, Tony. I still feel like I get a little tongue-tied at times, and then I'm like, I know what I'm reading. But because I'm doing it for an audience, I should pronunciate a little better. Which, I'm not always the best at doing that. I know I slur my words. I've done that almost my entire life. Some words I'll slur. But, yeah. But thank you for the words of encouragement. And thank you for joining the live stream. Like I said, this is good for my mental and spiritual health for sure. Even a little bit physical health when I get outside. It's a little cold today to just be sitting down, so I'm not doing that today. My cat knocked down my painting. That's what that big noise was earlier on. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me again today. I feel like I want to read something more about Jesus, but I don't have a set like, oh yeah, read this, read that. So if anyone has something that they'd like me to read out of the New Testament, I'd be happy to. You know what? One of my goals, one of the things I do want to do with this, and even if everyone stops watching, I still want to do it. I still want to read the best sermon ever preached, and that is the Sermon on the Mount. One of the stories that impacted my life the most as I was searching and discovering and trying to find out about God, and one of my best stories to present is Jesus teaching about the love of his enemies. So I'm going to read that part right now, and then I'll tell one of the stories, I guess. I'm just gonna read that part for now, because this is one of the ones that like impacted me a lot. So Jesus talking, he's teaching a bunch of people a bunch of things. You have heard that the law says, love your neighbor, as we just talked about. And hate your enemy, which we didn't really talk about. But I say, love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you. In that way, you will be acting as true children of your Father in heaven. For he gives the sunlight to both the evil and the good, and he sends the rain on the just and the unjust alike. If you love only those who love you, what reward is there for that? Even the corrupt tax collectors do that much. If you are kind only to your friends, how are you different from anyone else? Even the pagans do that. But you are to be perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. Then I'll continue on. The first part is 6. Watch out. Don't do your good deeds publicly to be admired by others, for you will lose the reward from your Father in heaven. When you give to someone in need, don't do it as the hypocrites do, blowing your trumpets in the synagogues and the streets, calling attention to their acts of charity. I tell you the truth, they have received all the reward they will ever get. But when you give to someone in need, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Give your gifts in private, and your Father, who sees everything, will reward you. So the whole loving your enemy thing, I think, is super important in understanding that. For me, in my walk, if I can show love and appreciation to my enemies, even when they were hurting me, it helps me go, you know what? Maybe God can forgive me, because how much better at this is he than me? How much more practice does he have at this than me? And I had experience in high school which is one of my favorite stories. I don't know if I don't want to put it on video like this, if that makes sense. Hey, Milu, this is her first appearance in one of the videos. This is my third cat. So now you've seen all my animals too. My dog Sassy, my cat Joxer, my other cat Mr. Gray, and now Milu. Come here, Miu. So, yeah, loving your enemies, it's a good way to help you understand, one, you know, how God's love for you. Because in a lot of times, in a lot of ways, I was the enemy of God. Because I rebelled against him, and I shared a bit of that during my Easter lesson, right? I went in front of a church and I told them all how stupid they were. And God used that still. So there's like that whole aspect of it, but then also God has a heart for everyone. We don't know why people are doing what they're doing. And when we can pray for them, sometimes once their hurt's healed, they're going to want to heal someone else's hurt. And that's not always the case. So I went to Pizza shortly after telling a story about loving your enemies. And the guy in front of me, he's like, "Wait, Jeremy, is that you?" And I was like, "Yeah, how's it going, buddy?" He's like, "Oh, not bad, man." Like, he was stuck in a dead-end job. He just was not at all, like, doing, like, success wasn't really much. He was still kind of the same guy. And he was like, "Man, remember when we were kids? I used to love picking on you so much. Man, those were awesome times. Remember how badly I picked on you?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude." And he was like, "Man, good times. So, like, what are you doing nowadays?" Like, really? Like, you realize the sentence that you just said, you made my life not great. And you didn't even acknowledge that. You remembered it as this fond memory. For me, it wasn't. Joxer kicking your sister out. Anyways, I'm apparently the best chair for cats in the whole house right now. Candace is upstairs, though. And, like, that moment, I was like, I was expecting him to go, "I'm sorry for how I treated you," and I was ready to forgive him. I really was. I was like, yeah, I get to do this moment. I have a couple people with me that know, like, the story, and I get to say, "I forgive you." How awesome is this moment going to be? This guy that's been picking on me acknowledged what he did is wrong, and then he's going to ask for forgiveness, and I'm going to get to forgive him. And that's not what happened. He didn't go, "Hey, remember how we picked on you? I had a lot of fun then, but I realized that you probably weren't having nearly as much fun. I'm sorry." If that's what it was, I would have been like, boom, I'm so happy to forgive you. But instead, he grabbed his pizza and he left. I was shocked. That was my first reaction. I was shocked. This guy who's like, "Yeah, man, pick on you, that was awesome." Alright, bye. I was like, what? I'm like double the size of you now. You're not afraid that I'm going to stomp you? If I didn't have Christ with me, I may have leveled him out right then. But I was so excited to forgive. I was just like, wait, what? And then as he left, I just kind of was like, man, I feel sorry for this guy. One, his life hasn't really progressed much. Two, he didn't really seem to understand how his actions hurt others. And to be so inwardly focused took my heart from being like angry to being sad. Like, how can you ever really love and care someone to be an active part of a community if you don't even acknowledge that simple fact of, like, when I was picking on you, that hurt you, and that's something I should apologize for. Like, that didn't even seem to go into his mind. And instead of feeling proud and like, yeah, look at what I've done despite him, or how dare he not ask for forgiveness, I was just like, man, I need to pray for that guy. He needs to see how he does have an impact on those around him. I can't imagine thinking so low of myself that no matter what I did, it wouldn't actually impact somebody else around me. Even at my lowest time, I thought if I suffered, that would have people help joy. That if I was in pain, others would be happy. Or if I was happy, someone else would have to be hurt. I thought that exchange had to happen. That was something that I just kind of came to, and I figured it out on my own. And that was from being picked on so much, right? I've saved someone's life, and I still have that. In grade 6, I saved someone's life, and I was like, yeah. Not only did I save the attacker, but also the girl that was getting attacked. Because it was just this moment of anger and rage, right? But I got rewarded with that and feeling like, yeah, I'm awesome. Not only with her not going on a date with me, but then spitting in my face. And it was just like, all right, yeah. If I'm going to be happy, someone else has to be hurt. And if I'm hurt, then someone else is going to feel happy. But to feel like you're so worthless that you don't make any impact on somebody's life, I just felt so sad. So, yeah, I prayed for him. I'm going to pray for him during our prayer here today. I'm not going to use their name, though. Then that other part about, that struggle between, I want to give, but I also want to do it in secret. A lot of people go, like, if God's doing all these awesome things, why aren't you guys talking about it more? And sometimes this is one of those struggles I've had, because I am a public figure, because I have to fundraise my paycheck. How do I promote what I'm doing, but also not really know what my left hand is doing? I don't want to be standing out in the middle of the street banging a gong going like, yeah, look at me, look at how awesome I am. Because I'm not awesome by any means. But how do I have that balance, right? Because I have to fundraise my paycheck, but also, so people need to know what they're doing and what they're supporting, but also I don't really want to do that. And one of the things that I've been doing is just, I try to let others bring up the good. I try not to do it myself. And that seems to work a lot better. There's another Bible verse about, you don't go into a wedding and then take a seat of honor, because then you might be asked to sit somewhere else. You might be asked to sit in a less honorable seat, and then how embarrassing will that be for you? But if you go and you take a seat, one of those other seats, and you're just left there, cool, whatever, you get to know your neighbors. But then if they ask you to leave that spot and go sit in a seat of honor, how much more rewarding would that be? So my question, my goal, my thing for you is, who in your friends list on Facebook today, this isn't what I was going to do, but who on your Facebook list, one, can you forgive and let go of the bitterness? Especially in today's day and age, there's a lot of time apart. You know that they're going through something similar. Who can you forgive? Is there someone on your Facebook feed that you maybe look down upon because they don't enjoy something similar to you, or they just seem to have less or do less? How can you pray for them? And I ask you to pray for them. 2, is there someone that you can honor? So we talked a bit about washing the feet, how Jesus came to wash the feet last week, But today, is there someone that you're like, you know what, they see themselves as lower, and I think the world of them? How can I reach out to them and let them know how much I appreciate them and I like them and I love them, even though they see themselves as less? So that's my challenge that I put out to you. And on that note, I'm going to pray. And I'm going to pray. Sorry, cat hair all over the place. They're starting to shed. It's spring. It happens. And then, yeah, we can be on our way. Thank you guys very much for joining me once again. Prayer requests, please send me a private message. I'm more than happy to pray for you. You can leave other comments below. I'm actually going to go through a couple. Yeah, so the version of the Bible that I'm reading, it's called the Jesus-Centered Bible. It's a New Living Translation, but all the Old Testament references are in blue that refer to the New Testament. And for me, it really helps me understand and connect the Old Testament with the New Testament. When I became a Christian, when I started in YFC, when I started my Bible and theology training, that was just a struggle that I had. One of the recommendations was to read the Old Testament more, because that's an area that I knew Jesus. I met Jesus. I was in love with Jesus. Then I had to find out his backstory. So this Jesus-Centered Bible has by far been the best, and it's written in a language that I understand. When I read NIV, I get lost a lot of times in what I'm reading. So for me, it's the best Bible for me. And you know what they say the best version of the Bible is? There actually is a real answer to this. The best version of the Bible is the one that you are reading, or the one that's open, the one that doesn't have dust. Like, there's a lot of other like kind of twists to it. So if you want to ask me what Bible you should read, for me, it's this. But if you're not going to read this, then find another one. If you like poetic language, then yeah, New King James. It's good. King James is very poetic, very Shakespearean. But I have enough issues with reading and writing. I have a learning disability in reading and writing. I can't handle that. I know my own limitations. So for me, this, Jesus writing, Jesus' words are all in red, and things that refer back to Jesus are all in blue. The whole Bible is centered around Jesus, and that helps me. It helps me understand the history, because I do like history and all that jazz. But anyways, sorry, that was me scrolling through the comments. And now I will pray. Hey, Mike, Michael, thank you for joining us. And Morgan, thank you so much as well. AJC, awesome Jesus Christ. I thank you that we can read your word together, that we can turn to you, your Bible, and read it, that we even have it. In our post, in this post death and resurrection world, that we have access. Joxer playing with a bag. We have access to your word. We have access to know the story. We know the plot that you have. You know the hope that you bring into each and every one of our lives. I thank you that we could celebrate in some way together with our family in our homes. And as more uncertainty and time is passing, with whatever's going on with COVID, I pray that we don't get so prideful that we denounce the words of the wise on this, that we can have that balance between, hey, this is what Scripture says, but this is the world that we're living in right now, and how they kind of interact and intertwine. And as we're going to be phasing out of this, hopefully sooner rather than later, that as we approach life back to the way of normal, that there's things that we will have done during this time to occupy our time, to strengthen it, to grow as people, to grow as your followers. Whether that's learning to forgive our enemies like we talked about, and for whoever it is, whether it's someone that they've never met on social media, that they're just like, they see their name pop up in the comments and they're like, ugh, just someone that wronged them last year and they're still holding on to that grudge. I pray for for the ability, the peace, and the strength to not only forgive, but then to follow through. And Lord, I pray that you can put on our hearts today someone that is feeling low, that we just think the world of, that you love more than we can ever fathom, and that we can remind them of how valuable we see them. Put those people on our hearts, Lord. Give us the strength and the follow through to be able to reach out to them and let them know that. Once again, I want to lift up all the healthcare workers, all the frontline workers, all the people that are going like, why is my job an essential service? And all the struggles that they have mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I pray for protections. I pray for the people that don't think that COVID-19 is anything to be afraid of, or don't even think it's real. That they don't endanger the lives of others. There's that post that's been circulating about the church in the States that still met and had these mass gatherings, and now the pastors passed. There's that serves him right type mindset that comes to the mind, and that's not right. So Lord, I ask for forgiveness on that. But I also pray that you can use this to help other churches that have that similar mindset learn. And the leaders that are telling their congregation kind of what to think and how to approach this, I pray that you can help fill them with discernment. There's a lot of people that are preaching for self-fulfillment and not preaching for you. And it's hard for me to separate these people that are endangering the lives of others with people that are trying to reach for you. But whoever they have whispering in their ear, Lord, it doesn't seem like it's you. So I pray that you can either correct me if I'm wrong, or correct them in a gentle way. And I pray that they can, that we can hear you, despite all the noise and the fear and the uncertainty. Today it feels like we're living a little bit in a Saturday. Are we taking time to appreciate what you did and what you're doing and what you have done and what you will do? Are we just sitting in confusion, trying to make sense, trying to blame, trying to do whatever? I pray that we can learn to really appreciate this time and to grow in the ways that we need to grow. I thank you for every single person that's logged in. I pray for their families. I'm thinking of about 2 or 3 different families that have just like extra special needs in their families, and I pray for peace for their children, and that they don't have to get rushed out to the hospital. I'm thinking about the person that stopped me in the street yesterday, telling me about their family member that is in the corona ward in Orangeville. I lift up all our nurses and stuff there. And for that guy who I shared about at Pizza that remembered, hey, I liked picking on you. I pray that he can get a more sober understanding of himself. That he can understand that he has a value that actually connects and has an impact on those around him, on his family, on his friends, even on his enemies, Lord. But yeah, thank you so much for everything that you're doing, everything that you've done with us and through us. And yeah, it feels weird to pray on camera still. Why, when I'm outside, I just like film the water and then I kind of forget what I'm doing a little bit. Once my phone went off, I remembered that I was on camera. So Yeah, thank you for praying with me. Thank you guys so much for joining. I know people have been in and out throughout the whole thing, but you're all awesome. It feels good to connect. And yeah, I have so much love for each and every one of you guys. I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm excited for the 15th. I have a new hat and a new shirt coming in. I ordered them like over a month ago, and they should be coming any day now. So I'm excited to show that off to you guys. But yeah. Anyways, in the meantime, hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I will be doing Jackbox later on tonight. But yeah, I am so thankful for each and every one of you. Hopefully, I look forward to connecting with you all tomorrow. All right, later. God bless. And then it's the stinking power button that doesn't like to